So this actual ticket has been decided that I'm going to sing, so here we go. And a one, and a two, and a 1, 2, 3, go. Adam Cole and the babies. 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 That was great. Good party for life. Good party for life.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody had a great weekend and an even better start to their week. This is THS Wrestling Presents That Wrestling Show. My name is John, and while I am sad that Ilja Dragunov is no longer the NXT champion, I know that I and my co-host and good friend Neeson are very happy for the Trick coronation, the king of NXT. Neeson, how you doing?
Oh man, I'm whooping that Trick Willie from South Philly. He finally is the NXT champion. With bloodshot eyes, either he was crying before he went out or he was very high. Either one.
Maybe
what
both.
A way to win. And what a way to celebrate, with tears or with Mary Jane. Either way. So kudos to Trick Willie from South Philly. God damn, it's time. The only thing I wanted to see was Carmelo come out at the end. And hey, maybe we'll get a digital release or something. But for Carmelo to come out at the end and just shake his hand, just go over there, just shake his hand.
Maybe it happens. Maybe that's a little. We'll get that after the fact here.
Trick's mom. He called his mama.
And as soon as that happened, I went,
"That Trick,
yeah, he's winning."
you can't have a person's mama on the phone telling like, "Go win, boy," and be like, "Mama, I lost. Actually, I lost
she would
again."
come whoop that Trick.
Yeah. Then hey, you gotta call in mama.
Oh,
boy. God damn it, Matthew. Look, don't.
Oh,
sensitive subject. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of sensitive
Refs
stuff
hate
going
us.
on. Dylan, what's going on? Kat, what's going on? Ken, what's going on? Matthew, what is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about. And I guess we can start with that's not happening due to respect for my friends. I'm not doing that. Anyway, so what'd you think of Trick versus Ilja? I'm gonna full screen you because I will be right back. Everything's fine, but I will be right back.
What I think Trick versus Ilja was great. I wish the match was a little bit longer. Like I can't even lie, but man, I think Trick's story and character arc is going to be one for the books for NXT that we really haven't had in a very long time. I mean, you can't really, like, Carmelo went and bought, he didn't buy it. He won it. He went and won the breakout star. Like, Trick really got it organically and really came up through he was just supposed to be a mouthpiece from Melo, and he really wanted to be his own star, and he bet on himself. And so it was special to watch him versus a person that really got it out the mud the same, like Dragunov grinded and like didn't change his style to fit a quote unquote WWE formula, and really got that over to the point to where we see, the UK NXT proper. Now we're about to see that on the main roster, and it's just such a fitting moment for Trick to be the catalyst of this new era, of this Trick era in NXT, and this new era on the main roster. It just feels right for Trick Williams to win. I loved it.
Yeah, it was his time. We've seen lots of improvement from him over. I mean, Ilya said it in his little promo beforehand as well. We've seen him grow into a fantastic performer, and yeah, he does deserve this. And now it's time. I mean, I was gonna say now it's time to see, but we already know. So now it's time for Trick to take the ball and run with it like we know he can.
Right.
And with the draft coming up, it should be pretty interesting. I don't know if that's a direct segue because the draft is happening on Friday and Monday of this coming week here. Look at that. Boom. I uploaded some stuff, baby. I love the draft logo too, by the way.
Yeah, the NXT gold swoosh.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about this. I know that we have a couple of people already declaring for the draft. I don't know if you have to say you're declaring for the draft in order to be in the draft. I think it'd be a really lackluster draft if that was the case. I think they're just letting you know, like, these people will be in it.
Can't be drafted. You didn't say it. You didn't say the words.
So I really wish there was a place I could go, Wikipedia, and just look at all of the WWE roster to see who's on what. And I'm going to do that right now. Is there anyone? Let's just start off with the fun stuff. Is there anyone that you see stuff like this? This is I want like, I don't know if this is going to happen, but I want some cool predictions of who you think is going to go where and why.
Well, I think this year's draft is probably the most interesting draft that we had probably since the first Fox draft, when we consider that this draft will highlight who's going to be on Raw in January when Raw moves to Netflix, and then who's going to be on NXT when NXT moves to CW in October.
Right.
We forget about that. And so, yeah, you know, SmackDown will be on USA, but USA has already had an outstanding relationship with both Raw and SmackDown. So I don't feel like that's not going to really be a big factor. I think we have to look at who's going to be the anchors for Raw and who's going to be the anchors for NXT in these new quote unquote eras of these shows. And so when I look at that, I think Cody Rhodes going to Monday Night Raw and being a Monday Night Raw staple. And then I look at, you know, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and being a Monday Night Raw staple as well. So I think those two, to me, I feel like those would be the big moves and power players. As far as NXT goes, I do think they need to make some sort of splash, but also I don't want them to make the splash in the PC, if that makes any sense. Like, I see the chat saying NXT, I see the chat or Shinsuke for NXT. You know, I don't want Shinsuke in the PC. Like, if that makes any sense.
No, and also, once again, I watched most of NXT tonight, and my evergreen comment is, please leave the PC. Please.
If there's
so tired of it.
If there's plans on them starting to tour and starting to get on the road, absolutely let Shinsuke cook in NXT.
Oh yeah.
But I think it'll be like, you know, we flip half of that roster in NXT, right? You have Shinsuke and Trick. You can have who else is like kind of like teetering just what's going on over there in the top roster. But I don't think anyone that just kind of came up and getting their feet wet should go to NXT. I don't think go to NXT. I don't think new Catch Republic should go to NXT. I don't think any of those people should go. I think, you know, we just mix it up a little bit with people more so in the lower card, mid card area. I see a lot of women being able to go. So, I think it's a resurgence. It's I think Friday is going to be a lot of shocking times, but Monday is going to be the real one. Monday is going to be the real one for sure.
Yeah, I'm
3 hours.
What's that?
3 hours.
3 hour SmackDown or 3 hour Raw or both?
Raw.
Okay.
Raw. Whoa.
I was gonna say, how many hours? How many hours of the day?
Did not want 3 hour Raw, a SmackDown.
I think, and we did start to see some factions kind of crumble on Monday Night Raw, kind of maybe hinting towards, well, maybe we're just having them be combative, so when they ultimately get drafted to different brands, it feels more natural. I don't think we'll have anything. Didn't Big E get drafted? He got drafted to SmackDown, and then they stayed on Raw, right?
Yeah, but that's when they wanted to give Big E his push.
Yeah.
During a pandemic.
I just wonder, like, now see, Dylan brings up a good point, and I brought this up, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I need this man on Friday to declare himself eligible for the draft. I think that would be very cool. A free agent who declares himself eligible for this draft. Do you agree, or do you think we just, wherever the bloodline goes, he is there?
I don't think if you do something like that, I don't think he declares himself for the draft, right? Like I don't think you play that card, but I do think maybe he gets drafted and he's drafted as the hottest free agent, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think you have that quote unquote free agent declare themselves for the draft unless you really open it up, forbidden door style kind of to anybody that doesn't have a major contract.
Right.
And you play it that way. But if the rumors are true and he is signed and yada yada and it's supposed to be this week, then you do draft him. And that's how you make the big splash of like, with our number 3 pick in the blah 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 draft, we choose Jacob Fatu, and everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think that's a great way, and he doesn't come out. It just shows a package of him. And and Cody Rhodes does his Jacob Fatu, 6'2", 250 pounds, can fly like a flyweight, blah, 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 blah. Wait till you guys get your hands on him. He's dominated in MLW and blah, 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 blah. And he lifts us off the things. And I think that will make it feel amazing.
I wonder could we possibly see a scenario where the bloodline bullies one of the GMs to draft them back to back to back? Or is the bloodline
the bloodline drafted all one? I think that's the thing. And look, is it wherever Cody goes, yeah, they can't mention MLW. But who knows? New era, new era. Triple H may let it fly.
Well,
like they mentioned Gail Kim. They mentioned Gail Kim yesterday. Yesterday, which surprised the hell out of me. So who knows? But yeah, is Bloodline all one? And then look, man, like, is it where Cody goes, Bloodline goes? Is that what we're doing? Like, if we think about it, Raw could end up having, right now, SmackDown is very, very star heavy.
I think, we're going to teeter that line, and Raw's going to get real star heavy, I feel.
I think SmackDown's going to go back to the land of opportunity.
Which is great.
Again. Which is great. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
SmackDown was always the wrestling show, right? So, I think we're getting right back to that, which I think is an incredible thing. But yeah, Bloodline may be one thing. There may be one where where one person to go, the whole bloodline goes.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I'm trying to look and see, like, who would I
Yeah.
What would be surprising to me, like somebody that I would be surprised to see get either put on Raw or SmackDown or go to NXT. I think Ilya is definitely gonna go to one of the other brands, obviously. I think SmackDown would be interesting for him.
Yeah.
I think that also depends. Like, if you really want to make him a name right away, just so people see how insane he is, I think you put him in a feud with Gunther. I think just so you can recreate those matches they've had year after year, just so it's more fresh in people's mind, because people aren't be like, oh, they had battles back then. You can watch it on Peacock, and everyone's like, I'm fine. I'm not saying everyone does that, but maybe that could be their thinking. I saw people saying that the beatdown of what is his Vinci?
Giovanni
Giov-
Vinci.
They were saying that's him getting kicked out of Imperium. Au contraire, because I believe Gunther used to beat the shit out of Kaiser all the time, and he's still with him. I think if anything, this is going to be Gunther getting drafted to a different brand, and Kaiser leading Imperium, possibly bringing in a third person. Please don't be Dragunov. I think that would be a bad idea. Or it might be a good idea. I don't know. But I think that's what it is, because we did get the nod of approval from Gunther to Kaiser after he beat the hell out of his tag team partner.
I would say, I think not even more. I think what that was Kaiser saying, I'm done with this in general, and Kaiser going off on his own thing, because only one of those guys got their, well, 2 out of the 3 have their own merch. That's Kaiser and that's Gunther, right? So it feels like Kaiser will break off, and Gunther and Giovanni will be left, and Giovanni may have to prove, and maybe you can go Dragunov, try to recruit Dragunov, and Dragunov's like, no, like,
Yeah.
I'm here for titles and I'm not here for you. And then that's how we get to Gunther and Dragunov. I will say, in this new era, I do want to see more stories being told that's not in the main event, and not just people out there fighting just because. Even though they're putting on banger matches, but give me something, give me some interaction. And so, yeah, Kaiser going to SmackDown will be great. I think Dragunov going to SmackDown will be great. These are both USA staples to people, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've both been on USA countless of times. So let's make it happen. I really like that pick.
I believe he's wrestling in Progress as part of Sanity. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. Is there anyone else, like, from NXT that you think would be interesting on a main roster coming up?
Jada Parker needs to come up to the main event right now and slap the dog shit out of Becky Lynch and win the women's world title right now, hands down. That's what I need to happen. I need Jada Smith to walk up, snatch her ponytail off, just like she did in the NXT match. Just that happened today. Snatch it off, throw it on Becky, backslap the shit out of her, and then do her finish. Excuse me, don't even know the finish. Do her finish and pin her 1, 2, 3, and becomes the Raw Women's World Champion. That's what I want. That's what should be on the main roster. Other than that, yes, Dylan, Metaphor definitely I think could benefit from Raw or SmackDown, but I really think from Raw because they have more time. And depending on what other gang warfare that could be had going on, but I think they're incredible. I think the last person I'll probably throw out there, I mean, that's not obvious, like Carmelo or whatever. I think Fallon would be a great addition to the women's roster.
Okay.
on the main roster for sure. I think
Um,
Fallon.
I could see Dijak getting called up. I think that would be
Dijak,
interesting.
Dijak. Oh my god.
What?
You think Terminator is gonna get called up?
Yeah, why not? Give him an actual run that isn't whatever the thing was before that I erased from my memory.
Slapjack, flipjack,
Yeah, what
slapjack.
was that? Wow.
Retribution.
Oh boy, dude. Wow. You know who else I could actually see maybe coming up? Come on, Big Banter, Big Breakfast, Baron Corbin. Bring him back up. Let's go.
Yeah, look, I think him and Braun should come up together, and I think they should do a breakup of tag team and not like turning each other, but I think they should break up the tag team after spending some time up on the main roster together. But T-Bar. Yeah, but also let him have a run and let him go against Trick again,
Yeah.
And NXT, I think he's found a home down there. I'm trying to think I think all the people that come to mind from NXT is already like in play to come up. Roxanne Perez,
Yeah.
Carmelo, yeah. But the women's division is so stacked down there. Oh, the D'Angelo family.
What do you think about that? I think that would be very interesting.
I think it's very main roster worthy, but I think it's very SmackDown main roster worthy.
I could see that.
Yeah. I think it's very, especially after like when they change their music and they have like the family music and they start calling them the family. I'm like, oh yeah, they're ready. Like they get it. But my number one is Jada Parker. And I don't care. And Jada Parker smacked the shit out of Bianca Belair. I mean, smacked the shit out of Becky Lynch. Not Bianca Belair. I would not say that is blasphemy. That is.
Yeah. What was that about?
That is just
a weird.
I'm gonna repent. Yeah.
Now,
Gigi.
Oh,
I would if they were together. I would love that. If they were together as a tag team again, I think that'd be a great tag team addition to the main roster. But they're not, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
And isn't Gigi in like a makeover gimmick?
Yeah, with Santino Morella's
You can't
daughter.
just ditch the makeover gimmick in the middle of it.
You can't just ditch the makeover gimmick.
Can't do it.
Fuck that. Bring up all of Chase U. Bring up to me, Chase
would
U
be fun too.
Chase U as a whole is an amazing act because you could plug in people whenever you want to. Think of the Spirit Squad. Like, just bring up Chase U.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if she's ready yet, but I thoroughly enjoyed that Blair Davenport Sol Ruka match tonight.
Blair Davenport is dope, but what do you do with her? Like,
I'm more the latter. I'm more what about Sol Ruka?
Oh, she's not ready yet.
She's not ready yet.
No, but she's dope, but I think she needs a little more run at the top of the women's card, like Blair Davenport's been at the top on at NXT UK card, and then she's also great. Is the first what? Oh,
North American.
No, you already know who that is. You already know who that is.
Julia, but also I don't think she's reporting till probably after this tournament is happening.
The tournament's happening in July, I believe.
Oh, well then, never mind. It's her title.
Yeah.
Yay. Hooray.
Boo. Lola Vice, greatest women's NXT wrestler that ever lived.
I agree.
Side note about that. I do love how they're really trying to make Lola Vice.
Yeah.
Like, you have Shayna, and then you have the other girl that's behind and and I don't even know her name, but just to try to prop this up, it feels like they're really trying to make Lola Vice, and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And she got the better promo than the person she's going against. I mean, but that's just kind of a given. It's not real hard.
I mean, unless you're in person and you're accusing people of some things, that maybe that's different. That's a hell of a promo, then.
The NA title tournament should be Julia versus volleyball players for Pingle and Pingle alone. You're just gonna destroy all of them.
So Julia versus Rika. That's what you're saying.
Oh no. No. So we mentioned
is that her name?
Possibly going on up and beating up Becky Lynch, who is our new
slapping the dog shit out of Becky Lynch. She has to slap the dog shit out of Becky Lynch. She has to slap the words off the page off her gear. Okay, that's how hard Jada Parker needs to slap Becky Lynch, where where the words off the page off her gear falls off, and she's like, "Fuck, maybe I need to write another book. Let me go off into the sunset."
Maybe
that's how hard she needs.
Well, I mean, that doesn't seem like it's going to be the plan right now because she is our new Raw Women's Champion. I don't think that is the title of the title, but that's fine. And I have a couple of questions.
Got
a couple. My first question to you is, how do you feel about a championship being won it's the Women's World Championship being won in a battle royal setting?
Shout out to Michael Cole and Pat McAfee for trying to make this feel just the biggest.
Oh yeah.
And only 4 times this has ever happened. Men and women, you know, mentioning Gail Kim and etc. I don't like it. I think, you know, this is the biggest constellation type of win you can have. But if this is what you're gonna do, Becky Lynch is the perfect person to win.
Yeah, and that was gonna be my next question. I do agree. Like, I'm not really a fan of Battle Royal. I think to make a Battle Royal to win a championship, I think if you really wanted to make this special, just do a one-night tournament. You have 3 hours.
Yes, but I think this shows the lack of serious women competitors. And like, because if we looked at it, it was no other women matches besides the Battle Royal, and rightfully so, it main evented and it was a big deal. But also, like, if that tournament which I wanted a tournament, you know, I think everybody really wanted a tournament, and you know, to Kat's point, it was a good Battle Royal.
Yeah. No, I had a
not to knock the Battle Royal. I think if you have a tournament, though, it's like, if you play it out, like, okay, do you really, you know, no disrespect to anything I'm about to say or anyone, do you think Maxine is really going to win this tournament? Do you think, like, they haven't propped these women up and give them enough time to make them credible competitors to have everybody? Like, you think your 3 or your 4, your Shayna, Liv, Nia, and Becky, right? Like, you think.
Go ahead. Sorry, I was thinking out loud. Sorry.
But you think those 4 have a real shot, right? And then maybe you throw in Redacted, and maybe, you know, for a wild card you throw in Chelsea Green, but it just didn't feel like anybody else had a chance. So I think a Battle Royal kind of gives that illusion that anything can happen by a slip of a banana peel. And yeah, man, I think the match was cool. I think the match was good, and like I said, I think the right person won.
So sorry, what I was doing while I was thinking out loud apparently was what would have made this better. And I think what would have made this better is if you have Raw and SmackDown general managers come out and say, we've been talking, and we
Mhm.
think what we were going to do tonight is we're still going to have the battle royal. Don't worry, but what we think is everyone that is in that ring. Maybe you'd have to put less wrestlers in there. Everyone that's in that ring, congratulations, you are going to be in the Queen of the Ring tournament. But the order of elimination is what seed you're going to be in. And the winner is the new women's world champion and Queen of the Ring.
Well, that sounds like a great idea for smart people. But you have a lot of faith in us here, us people, we the people. We're a intelligent bunch. Most of the people watching, I wouldn't say are so much, in that you have to keep up with that, and that's a lot of trying to keep up with, and also that's a lot of committing, right? Like you're doing a lot of commitment for future, when in wrestling it's like, if you win you get a shot at that, but then it's not like exactly how you get the shot or when you get the shot or blah blah. It's they could throw anything, they could adjust anyway. So yeah, I think that idea is dope. I just think I
hear you. So I guess I think you had mentioned this already, but Becky was the right person to win.
Absolutely.
I agree with you.
I hear a butt coming.
It's not a butt, because it's like Becky just released the book. She's going on a book tour. She'll have the title with her. It's behind Neeson. So yeah, and what I'm trying to do right now is prove a point, because I feel like a lot of people are saying, well, Becky just had the title. Like, oh, Becky again. And it's like, when was the last time she had the title? Was it SummerSlam?
4 years. No, she had her main roster title was 3 years ago. I'm sorry, almost 3 years ago.
It was when she
SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was when that thing happened that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
That I have on video somewhere. That was her last title?
Yeah.
Now,
her last main roster title.
Yeah. Oh, because she was NXT Yeah, so a lot of people were upset about it, saying like, why wasn't it Liv? I saw Brian Gewirtz say, why don't you let the story play out? Which I found very interesting. But yeah, okay.
I've go ahead, because I could jump off a cliff with this, but go ahead.
Because I don't agree with this, but I also don't disagree with it.
Oh, all right.
Or last night, not in general, not as a general statement, because Becky Lynch was on a table, Nia Jax, rock bottom Piper Niven on top of her, then Samoan dropped Piper Niven on top of her, and then power bombed her through a table. And she was back in the match, rip roaring and ready to go. So I think that's my only issue with it, was I was like, that's a lot of damage in the course of seconds, and you're up somewhat quickly. I didn't time it. I could be wrong, but just in the grand scheme of things, it felt pretty like, oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, when you have an injury like this, look, I was saying Becky was going to win at Mania. So obviously I don't have a problem with her being champion right now, and I don't think anybody else should either. But a lot of people were doing like, oh, it's a new era. Why do we have the same champions? And that's not true. Like, when was the last time Bayley was a champion? And when was, it was probably a shorter time than Becky, because Becky's been 4 years or 3 years.
For Becky, last time she had a main title, it'll be almost It'll be 3 years in summer, so almost 3, like 2.5
Yeah,
years.
so I don't understand why. You know why I understand people? Because people love Liv Morgan. That's why. And they want Liv to succeed. And I mean, we love Liv Morgan too. We want her to succeed. We want her to succeed. And she will.
I mean, you wonder why you do understand people. That's what he's saying. I
Yeah.
understand them because I love Liv Morgan too.
Yes.
Yeah, about this Becky Hogan thing, man. Look, or the Becky Hogan thing, or you've become what you despise Charlotte of becoming, or you know, all these blasphemy things about Becky Lynch. Everybody in that ring, none of them move the needle like Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Not one. None of them. Everybody in that ring, none of them have main evented a WrestleMania. Not one. Not any of them. Not saying they're not capable. Not saying that they're not great. Not saying that they don't have the potential to eventually main event a WrestleMania or to be a needle mover. Not saying that at all. What he's saying is that the money is in the chase. And so if the star at the star, the sun that causes, you know, the gravitational pull wins the title, well, that means you can have planets circling around that sun and continue to circle. Money is to be made. And so when I say Jada Parker needs to go to the main roster, slap the shit out of Becky Lynch, and become the world's women's champion, well, it'll make her a star instantly. But Liv Morgan, let's talk about Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is on her revenge tour. She keeps coming up short. I'm happy she didn't win. I'm happy she didn't win because now we could actually get a real story that Liv could sink her teeth into. She could take Judgment Day from Rhea. She could take the title from Becky. And then when Rhea comes back, she can say, nah, I got your title and your man and your crew and your whole spot. Come do something about it. Like, that will make Liv that star.
Yeah.
If she can achieve that. Right? Like, Nia's dope. I think now everybody appreciates Nia. You know, I've definitely been a fan of Nia. And took up for a lot of slack that people was like, oh, she's just injuring people. She's this, she's that. When a lot of the times people was over rotating and etc. She's gonna be all right. She's gonna be perfectly fine.
I will say it's been a minute since I saw Nia wrestle. I will say her when the ref raised the title and her stepping into was brilliant. I don't know if somebody told her to do that or if she just did it. Whatever, it was fine.
She looks like she's on another level of comfort.
Yeah.
And you could see that, you know, in Jade as well. You can see that be like the big three. You can see it in Jade, Bianca, Naomi. They look like they're on another level of comfort. Liv looks like she's on another level of comfort. And I think now we could have feuds that don't have the title in the picture in the women's division. And so, yes, man, the right woman won. This is not a Brooke Hogan thing, because when Terry Bollea was running on top, you know, it was hard for other people to actually make their name through and actually push through and become a top star. That's not what Becky Lynch has done in her career. If anything, she's tried to give back time again and again and again and again and again. The first run, she never won the title in NXT.
Yeah,
she kept being the good hand in NXT. Right? She got to the main roster. She was still the good hand on the main roster. It took her a minute till she beat Alexa Bliss in that table match, right? Like, I believe she like powerbombed Alexa Bliss to the table. Well, you know, I get it. Yeah.
What a shame that was.
So,
man, remember? I'm sorry. Remember first roster split?
Dean Ambrose.
dude.
champion.
First roster split. SmackDown had 3 women's matches on their pay-per-view, and they
Yep.
were, I think, they were all
Nikki Bella?
meaningful.
It's like Nikki Bella and
I mean,
was it Carmella?
boy, I would have to find.
Yeah,
find
yeah.
it.
It was good. It was good.
And that's when we had
good.
Rhino and Heath as a tag.
Yep.
Who were the first SmackDown Tag Team Champions? Like what?
Oh yeah,
dude. Hopefully we get some of that magic with this draft. That would be fun.
I think we can. I think we
I
can.
think we absolutely can.
I think, but it also, man, look, this roster is stacked. Like, especially with men, it is stacked, and so it's not one of those things where you have like a legend like Rhino that's just been there, and then you're putting them with somebody that's like a free agent that's trying to get signed, like Heath, that's going between rosters, that whole thing. It's like, now you got some established people already that, you know, already making way. I mean, DIY, New Catch Republic, A-Town Down Under, terrible name.
Half that tag team
terrible name. Yeah. The tag team is good.
Sure.
Both of them.
Yeah. I agree.
Austin Theory is a good wrestler, Pingle.
I'm sure he's a fine wrestler.
Oh.
Yeah, walked into it. Walked right into it. But I do, since we are talking about the tag team champions.
Yeah.
We got 2 new title designs this week for our champions of the tag division. And here they are with us. What an awkward picture.
Look
The
at
WWE
those
Tag
beauties.
Team Championships and the WWE World Tag Team Championships. I don't know which way to look. Oh wow! Oh, those are.
Look at those beauties. That is sexy.
So,
that is a.
I would love first impressions. I'm going to take this down because I'm not sitting like that. I would love first impressions of both titles. What did you think of the Raw tag titles when they were revealed? And then what did you think of the SmackDown ones when they were revealed?
I instantly thought the Raw titles remind me of the WCW tag titles. I think it were
The Raw ones.
Which one are the Raw? Which one are the SmackDown ones?
Those are the ones that look like the 90s
The old WWF ones.
titles.
Yes. So those remind me of that one, but the other ones reminded me of I believe it was WCW title. It was
towards the end.
Yeah. That's why I was like,
okay.
I was like, huh. And when I saw it, I was like, I like this. I like where this is going. You know, you have the world titles remind you of the big gold belt. And then you have the tag titles reminding you of W. I was like, okay, we're not losing our heritage here. Like we're kind of honoring it. And this Triple H has been about that. He's been about honoring the past. I mean, War Games, using the WCW pay-per-view name, Starcade,
Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc,
Great American Bash, etc., right? So, but then, so what did you see? When you saw the Raw, that's what I was like, oh my God, these are dope. I wanted one. Flobo, guys, sorry, Flobo just stepped into the chat.
Flobo in the chat.
Flobo in the chat.
Update on the score. I haven't been checking in. The
chat.
WWE Tag Team Championships, I saw those and I was like, I need one of those immediately. I love them. The other ones are fine. I think they're fine. I think they look like that. There's like, you know, those little candies that come in the gold foil. I can't remember what they're called. I'm trying to find a picture of it. Gold foil candy. This is just like all. Oh!
Like a Reese's?
Fiero Rocher. Oh boy, that's not going to help you.
Oh,
they have like the label right dab in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the
They both look
SmackDown ones are
good.
the winners. Yeah, the SmackDown ones, I think they need a little color in them. But
Yes.
the SmackDown ones are like, that's my favorite. I mean, it's like top 3 favorite belts of all time was the WWF Tag Team titles.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, the song called Tag Team, if you look on Apple
Oh,
Music,
I'll go listen to
Spotify,
it after
things,
this.
YRF Tag Team. But I was actually gonna get that belt tattooed on me for quite some time.
Really?
And instead of the WWF symbol, it's gonna be my band symbol. So when
That's
I saw
cool.
that, I touched my heart, man, because I was like, God, I love that belt. So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for the tag titles and honoring the past.
What is we didn't really talk about this, but what is that your favorite championship belt of all time?
Well, the white strap Intercontinental probably be the favorite for
Okay.
me. And then between second and third would definitely be the WWF Tag Team belt. Between the wing eagled belt.
Right on. I would have
But
to
then
say
oh yeah, what it was for you?
for
What is
me,
for you?
I really love the NWA World Television Championship.
Fire.
It's like silver and red, and I
Yeah.
love that belt. And I also really liked the WCW United States Championship.
That was a fire
That
belt.
was a great belt. But what were you gonna
That
say?
was a
Sorry.
fire belt. Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, but if we're talking new, look, that gold undisputed belt is just,
Yeah.
that shit is amazing. And the Rock's People's Champion belt, I was like, all right.
That was cool too.
All right. I was like, all right, I gotta start selling that one because that shit is fire. Like
Probably.
that. I mean, but if it's given to him by Ali's
Oh yeah.
wife.
I mean,
So
then it
I
would
don't
be
think,
that would kind of be like, did he really give it to you guys, or did you just take it?
exactly.
Yeah.
But that gold undisputed belt is definitely, it's creeping up my top 10 for sure, maybe even top 5.
All right. Maybe we'll have to do a belt or a
Ooh,
championship.
have a belt off.
I don't know if we need to do like which belt is better brackets, but we could just do our top 5 or 10. I think that'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Or we should just do like, well, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
It's our brainstorm.
So I want to talk about the WWE releases, but I also want to mention like a new United States news item that happened today in the same breath.
The FTC, huh?
FTC said, "Hey, you know what isn't cool? Non-compete clauses. So we're gonna get rid of those.
Yes.
Anyone that has a non-compete clause right now, guess what? You don't have one anymore. Go to work." So, and yes, while your heart may have broken for Trevor Lee, he can at least work immediately and not have to sit around and be sad. So this is huge news, and we were going to go over like where do we think who's going to make a big impact of all of the released competitors. And I mean, this conversation was probably going to be like, well, we'll see in 90 days, but now they could show up tomorrow if a call is made. And this actually, we talk about like the renaissance of professional wrestling. This adds an extra like, factor to it. Like, anybody could show up anywhere if they're let go or they ask for their release. They can just show up anywhere now immediately. Lex Luger showing up on the first Nitro in that white shirt.
Yeah, if I had to interject on a news item, I would definitely say it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like a bad thing to me is, these independent contractors were paid out for 90 days and, still had the time and to take care of their families and do whatever, but also to be able to pursue other avenues and do other things, right? Like, I think those 90 days were vitally important to the independent contractor just as much as it is to a company of like, hey, you can't just take what we have and go out right tomorrow and take it to the competitor.
Right.
Now that it being up, I do think, and look, they did not make this rule for a wrestler. Like this wasn't just like they didn't look at it. I know you know. I'm just saying because I was like, I saw the
CM
news
Punk
thing.
could have been back so much earlier. We need to take a vote on this.
I saw the news release and I instantly went to the comments and they're just like, so WWE, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is not
funny,
about
though that's like you think about it. That's how. I mean, most of us kind of know about like a non-compete clause.
I mean,
because of WWE,
right? But also, I mean, maybe we've worked in corporate, like we have 90 compete clauses, and when we sign, you know, to our corporate jobs, you know, you couldn't just leave and go work for X, right? You X blah blah blah. Like I couldn't just leave and go work for. Well, I mean, people know I work with Neff, so I couldn't just leave and go work for Tito's right away. Like it couldn't happen. I never would. Tito's fucking sucks. But
whoa.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
But I think it is an interesting time. It isn't, to be frank, it feels like when Abraham Lincoln quote unquote freed the slaves. Like he didn't free the slaves for the reasons of freeing the slaves because he was a good person. He freed the slaves for purposes of paying taxes and all the other things. Like it wasn't because of this is bad. It was like, yeah, and we need this to really bad, but it's bad, but it's really this. Like, guys, like let's hide this under here. And so I feel like that's what this non-compete thing is, and as far as corporate thing is like, yeah, independent contractors, you could get to work right now. And it's like, well, actually, companies are just tired of paying them out.
Yeah.
And paying them to actually their rightful pay. Like, hey, you worked for us X amount of time. We have to let you go, but we're gonna allow you to XYZ. Gender free. I didn't say gender. I didn't say gender anything. I said Abraham Lincoln, sir. I did not say anything about Jinder Mahal because I will never hinder gender.
Never again.
Never.
You will. I will say if Jinder Mahal wanted to do so, he could sign with All Elite Wrestling tomorrow, and they would just have to give him the AEW World Championship immediately. And Swerve would understand. He's Jinder Mahal, okay? The modern day Maharaja.
That's a whole nother conversation. I'm
Yeah,
afraid we have to get into. I'm talking about the Swerve thing.
No, we have to talk
about it all.
We will talk about. We'll get there. I think. Oh no, we only have 6 minutes left.
Oh crap.
So I think Jinder, if he so desires to go to any of the other companies, I think he will be fine. I mean, I know, all joking aside, do love Jinder. I think his WWE championship run was different and it was interesting. So I think he has it and he could be successful elsewhere. Cameron Grimes, listen, I think somebody said earlier he carried them through the pandemic.
We need to check on Johnny. We need to check on Johnny.
Oh, we do. Oh no.
We need to check on Johnny.
We'll check in on him afterwards. But I mean, he, that it wasn't Bitcoin, right? He bought shares in some anyway, like
GameStop.
Him being rich was great. The To the Moon stuff was amazing. And then he came up to the main roster and it felt like they just didn't know what to do with him.
A lot of these people got caught up in the transitional era.
Yes.
right? Like they knew what they do with them in NXT. They came up during He Who Not Should Be Named era, and then it was kind of that was their introduction. You think of Xia Li, someone like Xia Li that had an on and off start, an incredible presentation, but then just it fell off. They stopped focusing on her. You have someone like Cameron Grimes. And I didn't answer the question. I think Cameron Grimes is going to be the one that makes the biggest impact because he was young when he came into WWE, but already had a name for himself, already had the support from everybody around. I think he had PWG matches already. He's had all the top promotional indie matches, and he already had an established name, Trevor Lee. And so I just think the outpouring and crying that you see from and support, I don't want to say crying, but the outpouring supports from people like Swerve, from people like Ali, from multiple people just saying, hey, Top Dollar, like, yo, you have a first class ticket when your non-compete is up. Mr. Lee will be waiting for you. He could go out there and really make a name for himself, and to where they're going to want to bring him back. And I think that's the person to really look out for, because he just didn't have anything creatively, like as far as like a character to attach himself to. I think they tried to attach himself to the money character on the main roster. It didn't really work. They could have put JBL with them, but instead they put him with Baron Corbin. But that was during the He Who Should Not Be Named era.
Him and JBL would have been something.
It would have been something. So I definitely think look out for Trevor Lee, Cameron Grimes, because he is, man.
Yeah, he will probably have a nice resurgence on the indies. I mean, we know that he was in TNA for a good amount of time. His gimmick when he was on the indies was TNA. He wanted to be announced as TNA superstar Trevor Lee. It was great. It was good stuff. He knows what he's doing. He'll be fine. I know he's not doing great right now, but he'll be fine. He has the support of his peers, and whatever he does, he will be great at for sure.
To the moon.
To the moon. I have a feeling that you don't want to talk about Swerve as AEW champion.
We could talk.
Do you not want to?
It, man. We could talk about it. We can talk about it.
Okay. Well. Okay. Swerve won the AEW World Heavyweight Championship on at Dynasty, which overall was a pretty good card. I'm gonna let Neeson talk because I'm very interested and confused. I thought this was Swerve's house. Apparently it's not. What happened? What did he do to you? Did he text you?
No, I wish he did, because then I get a lot of answers. I wish I could be excited. Well, let me phrase this. I am excited. I'm excited, that AEW has a first Black champion, and they could, I feel like
I probably should have asked you.
I should. Swerve does. But Swerve was definitely deserving of the championship, and he needs to do Swerve when you drive. And Swerve has put in a lot of work, and I think from me being on his head in NXT of when he first debuted, of like, hey man, like stop trying to be something you're not. You've seen him develop into more of what he actually is in AEW, and you hear how he felt and how he was battling with it in NXT. So that's all commendable, and I'm great. I mean, I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for the growth. The issue when it comes to Swerve winning a title, it comes to everything outside of I'll say it, Flobo. it comes from everything outside of it. It comes from, I wish him to have the aura around him. Yeah, man. But I also wish he just didn't have the aura around him. That's why I didn't want him to win right now. I wanted him to build up even more. I wanted it to be this bubbling of like he has to win rather than like, we got it. I guess we got to give it to him now in order to placate to wherever. It feels like I just felt it could have been other ways to where he keeps getting slighted from it to where it's like it's a overwhelming support for Swerve being having the main title. But it's everything outside.
I don't mean to
Yeah.
cut you off, but I will say when he won, I was like, that's great. And I was like excited. That's great. But that was about it. And I will say it really makes Hangman Adam Page look like a big old dumbass because he said you'll never win that title. I know he's suspended.
Yeah.
But I mean, so what is he going to come back and be like, well, I guess you won. I'll see you later and just walk away. I was waiting for Hangman to, because then that would be like, well, he's never going to get this because he has to deal with this idiot all the time.
And that's what I'm
an idiot in character. You know what I'm
saying? Right, character. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like, and then plus, look, I'm gonna be completely frank. Plus, with him and the black wrestling, the BWI stuff, and him going against that, the song of him Lincoln talking about she's black and ugly, and I wish I could focus on
that.
That's what I'm saying. I wish I could just focus on the wrestling and just focus on, I want this man to win so bad because he's been held down so much in this storyline. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that. And I felt like it could have been that. So as much as I'm excited and I'm proud to have representation in a wrestling promotion, in a wrestling space that doesn't really invite us in a lot of these conversations, I mean, I am excited. But what I'm not excited about is that it was a lot more meat on that bone that could have been cooked through just right. To where if you would have tapped that bone, it would have all fell off and everybody would have feasted for eons. And so that's where I'm at with it. Like, I want to be as proud as I am for it, but at the same time, I'm like, eh. On the other hand, though, Willow winning, my God, that's actually the perfect comp. Like, Willow has been scratching and clawing.
Yeah.
The whole time. Yes. That is me, Flobo. Yes. Thank you.
I was very excited for Willow. Did you see that picture she posted? The face of TBS with the title.
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
She's great, man. But I will say, like, to Dylan's point, I know we got to set up her versus Mercedes, but can't we do that on Wednesday?
I see somebody said Mercedes is like the guest star in a 90s episode. Like, she doesn't belong there.
Go home, Roger.
Yeah. She just like pops up. I was just like, she does feel that way. She really she feels like a WWE star cameoing in AEW.
Yeah. Yeah. But I am happy Willow won. I think that was very cool. And but that whole Mercedes coming out immediately after wasn't the business. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, writing it down, never talking about All Elite Wrestling ever again. Got it. It's dead in the water. RIP.
Not again.
Ignore everything I said last week. AEW is dead.
They had a 5-star match with Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson.
Did you watch it?
No.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it. I thought it was very good. If I gave it 5. I was just wondering how you feel about using an injury to like end a match the way they did.
Especially
like when we have Bryan Danielson doing like the like when people get neck injuries doing the claw hand
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know how I feel about watching people die in a ring, so you know.
Yeah. So I mean that it was a good match. That oh shit, Pickle thinks this is a work. Yeah, I do. Maybe I'm just a mark then that doesn't know any better. But
I downloaded the match on it's on my phone. It's just 35 minutes. So that's why I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, yeah, give it a
But I will
watch.
definitely
It's
watch it.
very good. The ending was just interesting, and I don't know why we did what we did. But anyway,
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna watch Dark Side of the Ring and eat a sandwich.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm gonna watch the Clippers hopefully lose and drink some flavored sparkling water because I got to get ready for Japan in like a couple of months. So I want to be nice and tight.
You going to Japan?
Yeah, I'm going to Japan 4th of July week, and then I'm going to South Africa like 2 weeks after. That's what I'm excited about. Excited about South Africa.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
When you're in Japan, they're not going right now, Dylan. I'll tell you that much.
I will go by Tokyo Dome. When I went to Japan last time, you are the person. Remember, I went by Tokyo Dome last time.
Yes.
And went to the little small ass New Japan World shop.
Yeah.
Right by this shit is like as big as my bedroom.
Flo, these guys got 5 hits and they can't get a run off the San Francisco Giants. What are we doing here? All right, it's fine. We're above 500. I can't complain yet.
Shohei Ohtani got a home run, so that's cool.
Yeah, he did. We took 2 out of 3.
Yeah, whatever.
You lost to these losers 2 out of 3 times. Don't come at me with that nonsense.
Lakers losing, Dodgers losing. What do I have? Okay,
fine. Don't worry about it.
What do I have? I have nothing.
You have the great sport of professional wrestling.
I do. I have
in your heart.
Jay Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Jada Parker. Hey, Flobo, this is what I said. I want Jada Parker to show up on Monday Night Raw right in the middle of Becky's speech, slap the dog shit out of her, and then challenge her to a match that night and win the women's world title and pin her 1, 2, 3.
And with that, Neeson, where can everyone find you?
That means I have nothing.
Where can everyone find you on the internet?
Well, you could find me at Stay Fly Life on Instagram, Twitter, now known as X, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and anything else that involves social media. Thank you.
There you go. You can find me everywhere at JP Thrice. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. Dylan, thank you in advance for the amazing gifts you're going to send me. And Neeson and everyone else. Not everyone else, just us. I don't know who you send them to. Probably everyone. But we appreciate you. We appreciate everybody watching. This has been THS Wrestling Presents That Wrestling Show. Make sure you check out that #show.com for everything trending in geek pop culture. And we'll see you guys next week.
Back to you. Back to gotta sign off now. Flobo has like that.